think that Genesis conflicts with modern science. This simply isn't true. There are many parts of Genesis that admit of a more figurative, allegorical interpretation. Genesis, for example, it doesn't intend to teach us anything like the age of the earth or that God had to create everything within a literal 24-hour day period. You see, there are things that are open to interpretation, and many people like St. Augustine, for example, have taken a more allegorical approach to these things. But there are a few elements in there that do not admit of such a figurative interpretation. There are things from Genesis that have to be held by Catholics. I'm talking about things like that God created the world ex nihilo. He had to create the whole entire world out of nothing. That has to be held as something that has been revealed by God. Also, we would have to hold that there is a single set of human parents. In other words, we descended from one set of parents. The idea of polygenism, the idea that human beings descended from many different sets of parents, this idea would have to be held as false according to Genesis. And most importantly for our day, I think, is that man could not have been the result of merely material causes. In other words, Genesis excludes the idea that the human soul can come from material causes. The human body could have got its start, perhaps. It could have got its start from, say, evolving from lower species. But all that would also fall under God's providence, too. Nevertheless, though, Genesis does not clearly state how the body of Adam was formed, but God would have to act in a special way to form the first man because he would have to create the human soul. So none of the things that Christians have to affirm about Genesis conflict with science. Some scientists may say they do, but usually what's going on there is either the scientist holds to an atheistic philosophy, and that philosophy is in conflict with Genesis, or perhaps the person just holds a certain interpretation of Genesis that Christians are not obliged to accept.